Oh, this is another topic I want to talk about. They talking about is hip hop dying. Is hip hop dying? I'll say yes and no, and I'll get into it and I'll give you my explanation on why I say yes
Probably
and
the
no.
biggest conversation in rap throughout this entire year. But the thing with saying this isn't a new conversation. This ain't something that just popped up one time in 2025. This is a cycle. This is a conversation we see get repeated every.
Hey, shout out to the homie. I just stumbled onto his page. I don't really know him, but I like his content. I don't want to just necessarily use it. I give him a shout out. Get like Prince. Yeah. This was a pretty interesting video. I've been watching his content lately. Hopefully we can collab on something. Or get on Pop or Drop, bro. If you see this, get on Pop or Drop. Like, check it out. Go on my like live area, and I got this like hip hop game show. To make it short, it's basically like if you took Pop the Balloon and music reviews and some ratchetness and put it together. Like crazy. It's been popping, especially in Vegas. So check that out. But yeah. Let me get back to the video.
Couple years. Let's go back 2006. Nas was really the face of pushing the hip hop is dead agenda. I mean, he dropped an entire album called Hip Hop is Dead, where the premise behind it was him speaking on how he didn't like the state of hip hop and he didn't like the state of the culture.
When you said hip hop is dead, how many like DMs you got from the young?
Was it what to kill me, man? It's dead. I was just because we didn't have no control. And it's like, you know, a lot of people took offense to it that I didn't think was going to take offense. I'm talking about let's wake up and take control.
So this album releases and the controversy it caused was insane because so many.
I mean, he was talking about, I don't know. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Shout out to Nas, but I think he spent it. Like, was he maybe talking about like us losing the control of the money? Did we ever have control though? Let's be real. Shout out to Jeezy, shout out to T.I. There was a lot of fire artists back then, but if I'm not mistaken, he started to talk about that once that snap music stuff started to come on. Let's be real. I'm not trying to knock you, but in general, that's when like quote unquote real music was starting to make a turn. I don't know, Nas. I don't know if I quite believe you fully on that statement.
Different people in the hip hop space felt the tag. So many people felt like, damn, I just came up. I'm just not getting money. I'm just not buzzing in the rap space. Now Nas talking about hip hop is dead. So people was feeling the way about it. More specifically, the South was feeling the way about it, but a good bit of artists did feel away. Jeezy, for example.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do what.
More powerful, and people don't know the history of how powerful words are. You know, when he did the hip hop dead, I thought he was talking about us. It was like, right. So, you know, I wanted to be the front guy because at the time it's like you got to think, I'm just getting on.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not gonna lie. When Jeezy first came on, I wasn't really a fan of his style right away. But then after that, man, Jeezy became one of my favorite rappers at the time. So shout out to Jeezy.
Seeing my first legitimate money. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting my shows going. And then you got the Dawn in New York saying
like party's over.
Right.
I didn't think about that part. I didn't think that certain people would think I'm talking about those.
You didn't know.
Oh no, I'm talking about mainly New York.
Oh wow, the ripple effects were crazy.
Yeah, right. But I'm talking to everybody, but I didn't explain it.
Did you hear when, because Jeezy really, like, you took offense to that and you were very public about it.
Yeah, they got me. It was early in the morning. I had been doing my promo run. It was like, what do you think he said? Hip hop is dead, it's over. You guys are dumb. Like, yo, you know, I said what I said, but at the same time, that's how I go though. Respect.
Yeah,
you know
it was amazing energy from you too.
We got on the phone.
Oh, you did?
We chopped it up and it was like, yo, man, come on. You know how cool Nas is. Come on, bro.
But then it was like the irony of him putting out this project.
See, the thing is hip hop dying again? I'll say yes and no. So I'll say, like, if we talk about it from the mainstream perspective, I'm not gonna say it's dying, but it might be taking a little commercial hit. And I have a couple theories of why. It's probably multitude of reasons, but this is some of my theories. For one, I read an article, if I'm not mistaken. It said like this been I think the first time in years that hip hop, like 40 years, if I'm mistaken, that hip hop hasn't made the top 40. I'll crack the top 40. I'll say one reason is I don't think personally none of the new rappers, the younger rappers under 30, even make top 40 quality songs. Tell me if I'm wrong. Like, you might find a few that's under 30, but for the most part, I don't think nobody's writing top 40 songs. I think everybody making songs for it. TikTok, like fast consumption. So like if you're not making top 40 songs, then the odds you get on top 40 is low. Everybody making just like TikTok. Like I'm not knocking it, but everybody seems to be making more like TikTok quality songs, which is like kind of like a fast food. Two, I think the world's way more stimulating. Now you got to compete with streamers. You got to compete with podcasters, comedians. I know your genres say music, but when we're on YouTube, eyeballs is eyeballs, right? So while we on YouTube, you're still competing with the same streamers, podcasters, content creators. Like even me, I find myself listening to music a little less. Don't get me wrong, I have my favorite artists I listen to, but you compete with content, podcasters, movies, so on and so on. So streamers. So yeah, I think that's a lot of the reasons why I can say like hip hop might be taking a hit. Even like shit, country music is coming up. Morgan Wallen, people popping in country. So they've got reggaeton, people like Bad Bunny. And so now it's just getting spreaded. So I think that's like one of the main reasons you can say like, I'm not gonna say hip hop is dead because the culture's still running and alive, but why it might take a slight commercial hit, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you why I think that it's not dead at the same time for us independent artists.
Within the same time period, we had all of these amazing hip-hop albums coming out. 06, 07, 08, all these great albums was coming out. And I think that can be applied to today, 2025. We seeing this hip-hop is dead narrative being fueled so crazy. Yet if we look back at some of these albums that we done got in 2024, 25, 23 even, we done got some great music. So my point is, the hip-hop is dying narrative being pushed more than ever, and we have no
even with the numbers too, like years ago they was finessing like with bundles and stuff. So a lot of the finessing tactics are being clinked out. So it's kind of hard to finesse the numbers the same, which gives them like equity shares. So without the finessing of the numbers, the bundles, they erasing all that, cracking down on more artificial streams. That's another reason why it may seem to be like quote unquote dead, or at least losing its a slight mainstream appeal. And two, I'm gonna keep it a buck. All the music sound the damn same. So like everybody sound the same. So it's no difference. It's no like difference between one artist to one artist. My other theory is most music is a soundtrack for your generation, right? Predominantly for the youth, predominantly for the streets when it comes to hip hop. Y'all might agree. I think the last two artists I can say that might have would have took that crown was probably Juice WRLD and XXXTentacion. I think the reason is they speak exactly for the young youth. Depression, heartache, heartbreak, and they made catchy music. Say what you want for my older audience. They made catchy music and soundtrack music for their generation. Every generation had their version, whether it was Tupac, he spoke for the underserved Black community, whether it was Elvis, whether it was fucking Beastie Boys, or well, not Beastie Boys, but whether it was like even people like the Beach Boys. They always was a soundtrack for their generation. Don't get me wrong, we had like party people and stuff too, but usually those legends are the ones that not only speak for the fun side of us, but speak for that pain. Even like a Nipsey was doing it for his niche or whatever, so, or Kendrick or J. Cole, so on and so on. I don't think we have any new people under their 30s that can like represent a nice healthy balance between the fun side of us but really speak that pain and relate to the people. So I think that's another reason too.
No idea.
I mean, let me know in the DM. Don't just let me know. I mean, some of y'all might be tapped in, some of y'all may be younger or older. Let me know in the comments what y'all think.
What could be released this year? But me saying that don't necessarily mean that hip hop is in the best place as a whole. Numbers wise, we ain't really in the best space, but it ain't just numbers fueling this narrative. A real strange conversation has been coming up right along this hip hop is dying conversation. Rat fatigue, black fatigue, probably one of the worst words these people online could have discovered, because this has actually become a huge talking point with a lot of people. Now, rap fatigue, what the hell is that? To make it make sense, people online are just saying that, look, we tired of rap music. They turn on rap music and hear every artist speaking nonsense. All people do is rap about women, drugs, sex, and a lot of people are.
I mean, to be fair, if you keep seeing women, drugs, and sex, that's probably the music you choose to listen to, and then the algorithm just end up feeding the things that you listen to be fair.
Tired of it.
So here I am in my 20s, and I've noticed that like I really don't reach out to the rap.
Is this Russ brother? Russ got a brother? That's Gus.
Rap genre anymore. Like I really don't like to listen to it as much because it spreads so much negativity. Like most of the music now,
I mean, bro,
just
you
be talking about
could
drugs, you know,
not
girls,
listen to people that talk about drugs
and
music,
doing crazy stuff that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? I don't agree with shooting people.
Movies do the same thing too.
All this crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So if I don't align with this music, why am I rapping about it? Why am I, you know, rapping along with these people and I don't agree with any of the things that they're saying? Now, you can't tell me that after a while listening to this type of music that it wouldn't affect you. I'm not saying you immediately gonna go and slide on somebody or you gonna do some crazy shit, but it's definitely.
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes King Von make me want to slide. You feel me? I am from Chicago. They make me want to slide. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom.
You know, affect your mental. Nowadays, I find myself listening to music that's gonna make me happy, listening to music that's gonna uplift me, or listening to music that just puts me in a generally good mood. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to listen to nothing that's gonna
positive,
weigh down my spirit, nothing that's gonna make me sad, nothing that's gonna make me feel weird. You know what I mean? Or nothing that I don't align with.
Suicide. If you
and
ever
I mean,
try
that's
to
an
let
understandable
go,
point.
I'm sad. I know.
Actually,
I'm sad.
think about it. Not every artist out here is just focusing on them points that people bringing up. Not every artist you listen to is talking about sex, talking about money, talking about drugs. You get what I'm saying? Not every artist is like that. You are just choosing to turn on these artists. You turn on this song by this artist that just so happen to focus on this negative point that you brought up, and to really go against this whole dumbass rap fatigue point. If we look through 24, 25, hell, even next year's gonna be some albums like this. There's plenty of projects where, plenty of big rap albums where the entire premise ain't just nonsense, ain't just sex, money, drugs. Take Chromacopia, for example, one of the biggest albums that done released in the past years.
Hey, we need a little bit of fucking hoes, fucking bitches, a little bit of drugs. I ain't gonna lie.
Wasn't just I'm tired of creator, I fuck bitches, I get money. No, this was him really digging into himself as a person, going through the troubles of his life, going through so much more than just surface level music. His song Like Him, for example, that was huge. It was him diving into his father and how he really didn't know him and how he didn't want to follow in the footsteps of his dad. Another song off this project, Take Your Mask Off. The title is exactly what the song sounds like. He dove into people who are hiding their true colors from the world, hiding their true selves, putting up this facade to all the people around him in their life. And there's plenty of other points and examples and projects that I could go through that I really enjoyed this past year. That's not just rapping about delinquent shit or just rapping about negativity. So this rap fatigue thing is one of them points where just walking by and you hear somebody say it, you're like, oh, okay,
I don't
that
think people
makes
getting
sense.
like
Until
fatigue
you put
or rap.
any
I just
thought
think
behind it.
there's
Because
no rap
once
that's
you think
sticky.
about it, you see
right
the
now
flaw.
rap's kind of fast foodish. Like it's tasty, but it ain't a home cooked meal that's really gonna comfort you. So I think I'm not gonna say they fatigue with it, but it's rap just been McDonald's lately for the most part. I mean, you got some hot artists, well, mainstream wise, you got some hot artists, but it's definitely been McDonald-y, if that makes sense.
In everything that they're saying. These people are specifically choosing to turn on bullshit, then get mad when they hearing bullshit, when that's not what they had to listen to. And if rap fatigue is a thing, then you could say the same thing for every other genre of music. This is the point.
Now, I would say, like I told you, why I don't think hip hop is dying. Honestly, as an independent artist, I think this is one of the greatest times. Don't get me wrong, it is annoying. We got to do fucking content and damn near act like a streamer. But at the end of the day, this is one of the best times where we at least have the ball in our hands, at least if we play the cards right. Like back in the day, if you ain't had no label or tons of money, you almost had no shot. You wouldn't even be complaining about a content because it wouldn't even be a thing. So today we got chances. Like now, do I think hip hop is dying on or taking a hit on the underground level? No, I think it's actually on the all-time rise. And honestly, a lot of my favorite artists I've been listening to has been mostly underground artists. The thing is, we're coming in the game where we're used to not having no super major labels and all that. So we already hustlers already building brands, and we know how to do it with less, like build brands and build this and all that. So I'll say independently, it's been going up. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion.
I done delved into 100 times throughout my videos. These country artists, these pop artists, these rock artists, they all speak about the same shit that rappers do, just in a way. Yet they never get nowhere near as much backlash as these rappers. They never get.
To be fair, rap comes out fast, so it could be kind of oversaturating when like other genres tend to come out more slow, so you can sit with the song longer and then it don't seem as more overly in your face over and over and over and over and over. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Rap lately has tended to be sounding like almost the same personas, the same look. I'm not saying other genres don't do that, but they might have a little bit more creative freedom than we do in the rap culture.
Scrutiny like these rappers do. So not all rap music is what the people who use this rap fatigue word think it is. It's so much more to the culture than just that. And then it's like every time you hear somebody talk about, yeah, I got rap fatigue, you ask them what they listen to. They listen to the most generic shit. They listen to people who make this music, who make music, talk about what they talk about, and then try to apply this one artist to the culture as a whole. Now, I'm not saying, negativity and gang rapping and the bullshit being rapped about.
Rap is really one of the most unique genres. The only downside is commercially, they don't tend to market a variety. But as far as like as a whole, rap is one that has the most unique personalities and genres I've ever heard. You know what I mean? They just don't tend to promote it as much on the mainstream level.
Isn't a problem, because it is a lot.
But is that the marketing or is that the fans' issue? So you tell me.
Artists do push nothing but nonsense and negativity, but that's not every artist. So don't try to categorize the entire culture as whatever point you trying to make.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is base 44.
Getting skipped.
This is coming from the biggest Moneybagg Yo, 21, Drake. I mean, you name it. I used to love it. When I stopped listening to it, call me weird, but I feel like my values of myself.
I got a white girl talking to me about how big of a Moneybagg Yo fan she is.
Exactly. Showing about no rap.
With the caption, why most rap music is actually terrible. Telling me about how big of a Moneybagg Yo, 21 Savage and Drake fan she is.
The most generic artist.
With a caption, why most rap is actually terrible.
I'm just saying.
I don't know about y'all, but to me, the power of the tongue is strong. And I truly believe that what you listen to can have an effect on your mind, your thoughts, your actions.
Yeah, these things are true, right?
Yeah, that's why I try not to trivialize the point. That's why I try to not overly listen to overly violent music, but I'm no saint, so I'm not trying to preach to you like I'm some saint, but I do agree with that.
I do think that there's power in the tongue. I do think that there is, if you consume something of like too much, there are effects, but that's usually, especially when you're probably an adult, limited to food, my nigga. That's usually limited to food. If you have a working, functioning brain, you know how to filter through the things that you're listening to as entertainment and entertainment only. This is something that I listen to in my leisure. This is something that I listen to when I want to have a good time, but it's not something to model my life after.
Honestly,
yeah, I don't be watching like Tom Cruise and try to like jump off the airplane and then take the AK-47, shoot the passenger, when the airplane blow up, jump into the limousine and then swim in the ocean. I don't try to do that, but for some reason people always judge music a little different, and I do get it, but yeah, I don't really like the unfair comparisons.
I think this whole rap fatigue turn, this black fatigue situation has a lot of microaggressions toward black people in it. Get mad at me in my comments about saying this if you want to. I could care less. I think there's a reason why rap fatigue is a thing. Hell, black fatigue. These two terms be getting used interchangeably. And to be honest, I think these terms became so big because it originally started with these same people who going around saying that rap music is devil music. You listen to rap music, you automatically this kind of person. You automatically this stereotype. And I think this same narrative that people use in real life, this same motive that these people use toward minorities and black people in real life is slowly being forced upon the music industry. You go online, you go on TikTok, you see these narratives being pushed using the same logic that some of these racists be using against black people. But it's just being said in a different way. It's just being put in a way where you don't think.
I mean, to be fair, we do be doing too much as a black culture sometimes too. So I'm not going to say like it's just no validity to it at all, but I see what he means, and I overall agree with him though.
Think about it like that until you really dive into it, which I think also has a lot to do with rap being disregarded so much when it comes to music as a conversation as a whole. You think about all these times where music is being brought up, all genres. People love to treat rap a certain way. People love to look at rap and be like, you know what, that's not really.
I mean, to be fair, rap does put an abrasive type personality, so as you get eyeballs, that's susceptible to more criticism as well, and that's what you just got to take, you feel me? But let's go.
Music. This is just some shit that people listen to. This is people rhyming. This ain't real music. This ain't pop. This ain't whatever else niggas want to compare it to. And that's the problem. It really is fueling this rap fatigue narrative, this weird little conversation that people is having online. So not only did we have this whole rap fatigue thing going on, but then hip hop has been on the decline numerically. Now this ain't a point I'm a super deep dive into because that's generic as hell. Everybody done spoke about how hip hop numbers is down, how we not #1 in all genres no more. And I kind of dove into this in my sales video from the other day, but
like I said earlier, some of the theory for me is less finessing, compete with streamers, podcasters, movies, content creators, and then a lot of the music sounded the same, and then rappers not making top 40 type tracks. I don't think they even writing those types. And then I don't think that we personally have a soundtrack for our generation type artists other than the streets, but there's no one that's talking about what we going through, like the pain we're going through that I've heard in general. Like, don't get me wrong, there might be some artists out there. I'm not saying it's not, but it's being marked, but that type of artist being marketed on a broad scale that can find a balance between speaking for what we go through, but the youth is always going to be the one that's going to push it forward on a commercial level. So speak for what the youth go through and have the ability to find a balance between what they do for fun, but still speak for what they go through. Kind of like a modern Tupac. Not saying they got to rap like Tupac, but someone to make them feel like how Tupac made that era feel, even a Nipsey or even Juice WRLD. I think Juice WRLD and X was for that generation. So that's my opinion on that one.
Hip hop isn't at the top of the charts like it used to be, and we understand that. One article wrote this on the situation. It was only in 2018 when hip hop surpassed rock and roll to become the most popular genre in the US, but its glory was short-lived. In 2023, when hip hop celebrated its 50th birthday, the music genre that gave a voice to millions seemed to be losing its appeal. While 2023 was marked with historic performances by hip hop royalty at major events, the newer generation struggled to make a dent on the chart. In fact, media outlets were flooded with think pieces about the decline of hip hop after it experienced a fall in the market share and a failure to dominate music charts for the first time in a long while.
Basically, those little bundles.
Growth has really slowed down compared to the early 2010s and compared to other time periods. So numbers are down, but like with everything else, numbers doesn't mean everything. It's not the end all be all. Nothing in life is just black
still fine, you know.
So yeah, numbers might be down, but
stuff
we still have got some really
down, but we still
popping. We still have gotten some great projects in the past year or two. And
we just need these new artists. We just need these new artists to step up. These under 30 artists. Like, I'm not one of the ones that always got to say everything sucked. There's a time and place for everything. There was a lot of trash music back in the day, and even in my era. But we're gonna need at least a few. Like, who's gonna be the next Kendrick, Drake, and Cole, or whatever, or just set the tone for something else even new. I don't know. I think we're waiting for that. I think the game's waiting for that.
Going back to a point I made in my previous video, people hold too much value to sales, too much value to numbers. When in reality,
yeah, don't get me wrong. Sales and numbers, don't get me wrong. If the music good, the art's good. From a debate conversation, I do think the sales and numbers should be like a bonus. If the music's good, the art's good. And yeah, you know, it do kind of predict like money and monetary gain, but we shouldn't overly be focused on that. Let's get this music back good first. You feel me?
None of this shit determines true quality. The only thing that determines if an album is good or not is if the actual album is good or not. Not if it did 300K first week.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your notes.
But circling back to the point I made at the start of this video, the conversation we were having, this rap is dying combo isn't something new. We done seen it repeat itself time and time again. I mean, we've been hearing the same thing since hell, the 80s, the 90s, for example. It's a history lesson time. During this time period, the 80s, the 90s, what some people feel like is like the golden age of hip hop, where feels the same way. Revolt spoke to him not too long ago, and this is what their article wrote. Today's mainstream rap is quite different than when hip-hop was first introduced to the world in the 1970s. He said they ignored us for 50 years, now the 50th year is here, and now come on, we know the game. That's the difference between real hip-hop and fake stuff. Real hip-hop is free. We ain't with the corporations. We ain't messing with none of that. We built our culture from the center. Now we're building theirs. We started with breaking, MCing, graffiti art, and DJing, the core 4 elements. This is hip-hop because we wanted peace, love, unity, and having fun. That's why we did what we did. We put it in all our movies, all the DVDs, all the first rhymes, everything. Now you could come along and say, man, F all that. I just want these money, and these white folks gonna give me this money for me to act crazy.
Yeah, they do got a point. Hip-hop did start it off like the way they said, but now it's, I mean, for a while though, it's been corporate and commercialized. That's why like the essence is starting, the quote-unquote essence is starting to leave, but that's been that way. Unfortunately, anything you want a mainstream scale, 9 times out of 10 is going to have to be more corporate and more watered down to fit the masses. So that's unfortunate.
And I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And F the culture. that's a traitor. So basically, he feeling like a lot of these artists who come out and they push this nonsense and they fuel whatever narrative that their labels want them to fuel, they're traitors. They're not really a part of hip hop. And for the past 30 years, he been saying the same thing. He ain't really like the direction hip hop don't win. And it goes back to my point. This ain't the first time we done seen somebody in the industry, anybody with influence, come out and say that hip hop is in a bad spot. So for right now, us seeing this conversation again is nothing new. Hell, we can even go more recent, 2015, 2016, back when hip hop was changing more into the sound that we got today. We had the whole older side of hip hop, the whole other side who didn't support that new wave, basically saying, look, hip hop is changing. I don't like it. So in other words, that means hip hop is dying. Point is, history has repeated itself multiple times.
Yeah, so ultimately, I don't think hip hop is dead. It's just going through some changes. I just think that the new artists need to step up and create that, but it is what it is.